Good afternoon, folks. My name is Kurt Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. Purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if there's probable cause for those charges. Probable cause simply means that it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred, and more likely than not that you're the person who committed that crime. Of course, as you stand before me this afternoon, I presume that you're innocent of these allegations. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of the proceedings, unless and until the state attorney's office is able to prove the allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We'll set your conditions of pretrial release this afternoon. That is your bail or your bond. In most cases, you've had a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit, or the warrant which led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this afternoon. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you haven't had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that happens. Finally, and most importantly, advise that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with me this afternoon. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. I now need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. You all solemnly swear, affirm, tell truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Outstanding. When you hear your name called, please step forward to the podium. Randy Caton.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Afternoon, Randy. What's your date of birth?
2/13/67.
All right, Randy, you got two charges today: possession of hashish, possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself. Do you plan on hiring private counsel, or would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender, fine.
Appoint the PD, state any history.
Yes, Judge, fairly lengthy. In December of last year, there was a violation of probation out of Pasco County. In September of 2018, there's a violation of probation out of Hernando County. In June 2018, there's possession of controlled substance, possession of paraphernalia. In March of 2018, a grand theft of $300 to $5,000. She was in prison from February of 2017 to August of 2017. In November 2016, failure to appear in a violation of probation. There was a grand theft from a dwelling from September 2016, a violation of probation, violation of domestic violence injunction from 2016. Also from 2016, possession of controlled substance, possession of paraphernalia. 2014, violation of probation, felony petty theft.
All right, that's good. Randy, got an address for you on Palo Way in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yep.
How long you been there?
Yes, sir. Right now it's been 4 years.
All right. You have a job these days?
Yes, I do, sir.
What do you do?
General contract and landscape, stuff like that.
Okay.
I just haven't been doing it lately because it's been cold.
It's cold today.
Exactly.
All right. I'll set the bond on the hash at 1,000, on the paraphernalia at 500. Your total's 1,500. You're coming back December 30th. Very important that you contact the public defender when you get out. All right?
Okay, what is my bond you said?
1,500.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kristen McKinney. Want to miss what's your date of birth?
5/17/96.
All right, we've got three charges today. I've got an aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer, fleeing and eluding, and driving on a suspended license. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you're going to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD, and she's already got a bunch of open felonies in front of Judge Merritt, right?
No, she has open charges.
Yeah. There's a bunch of them.
Yes, there are.
Okay. So, Kristen, I'll leave the bonds on these per the schedule, which is $5,000, $2,000, $1,000 respectively. We'll move these to the 23rd of December where your other cases are. I assume you have the public defender on your other cases?
Yes, sir.
All right, so they'll take care of these charges now as well, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Rhonda Naylor? Morning, Miss Naylor. What's your date of birth?
01/02/77.
Miss Naylor, you're hearing a warrant signed by Judge Helis. She found probable cause for a VOP, and Miss Newby, looks like the recommendation is to put her back on probation with a suspended sentence.
Yes, 10 days, and after the 10 days, we'll reinstate her. But there's also some issues that she might end up back in jail because from when I spoke to Mr. Story, she's still going over to the victim's home.
Okay. Oh, continuing to violate the injunction.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Judge, she did have 2 days prior to this.
Okay. But at the moment, we're not aware of any new charges, is that right?
Other than we just keep getting phone calls that she is going back to the location that she's not supposed to be at.
Okay. All right.
We got one yesterday also.
Okay.
So we'll reinstate her, but she needs to understand that
Okay.
she cannot go back to that location.
Okay. All right. Well, so Rhonda, here's where you're at. Right now, the bond on the warrant is no bond. If you wanted to talk to a lawyer about this case, I would certainly appoint a lawyer for you, but you would be in jail until, looks like January 3rd you'd come back. You can enter an admission to the VOP right now. If you do that, I will reinstate your probation.
What does that mean?
I'm about to tell you. I would reinstate your probation. That means you'd be back on probation, but I would suspend a sentence of 11 months and 29 days, except for 10 days of that. So you'd have to do 8 more days in jail. Then you'd be out, and you'd be back on probation. But apparently you're having six more days.
Sure.
Apparently you're having trouble understanding that with the injunction that's in place against you, you can't go back to wherever it is that you've been going back. And if you keep going back there, you're going to find yourself in jail for a whole year. Are you understanding me?
Yes, may I say something, please,
Sure.
Your Honor?
Sure.
Can you give me another chance?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I'm happy to put you on probation. But the deal is, if you accept the deal, is that you got to do 6 more days in jail, and then when you get out, you'd be back on probation. And if you messed up again, then it would be a year in the county jail.
That means I gotta do 6 days in jail, something like that.
6 days right now so that you could get out, but then you got to report back to probation, and you got to do everything they're telling you to do, and you've got to not violate the injunction anymore.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does that sound like something you want to do?
If I take it, I'd be out in 6 days.
Yep.
I take it. I'd do the 6 days.
All right. You understand by entering an admission to the violation of probation, you give up the right to have a trial to the court and the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to have a lawyer, but you want to give those up so we can get you back on probation and get you on the way? Yes?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
That's all right. So in case number 19 MM2 3248, do you admit that you violated your probation? Yes? Rhonda, do you admit that you violated your probation?
That I wasn't even there, but if it says I did, I do the 6 days and...
Okay,
And
the way you get the
all
deal
that.
is to admit that you violated probation, hon.
Yes.
There you go. I'll accept the admission. I'll find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll reinstate your probation with all the same terms and conditions with an adjudication, with now the additional condition that I'm going to sentence you to 11 months, 29 days in the county jail. I'll suspend all but 10 days of that, and you've got 6 of that 10 left to do. And then when you get out, within 48 hours of getting out, you got to report back to probation, okay?
Yes, sir.
And when you get back to probation, no more room for any mess-ups around you. You got to do whatever they say. You got to stay away from the place where you're not supposed to go, so that you can get this done and get off of probation, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, so remember that. Once you get out, 6 more days. I'm giving you 10 days with 4 credit, right? And then report to probation within 48 hours, okay?
Yes, sir.
And you guys are her folks, or all right? You get everything that's going on. All right. So after the 6th, you can get her, and then get her right to probation, okay?
When is that?
Whatever it comes to, whatever they would count the days off, they'll tell you. Let's see.
6 days after today. So,
So 1, 2,
next
3,
Tuesday.
4, 5.
Your Honor, I believe the no contact is the husband.
Okay.
Okay,
I think
that's
it was
the
a different
injunction.
victim.
If you're the one she's not supposed to have contact with, then
No.
she.
Rebecca.
Guaranteed, Laura and I.
Okay.
Rebecca Leonard.
Okay.
Okay, forgive me, I thought it was the
Okay.
husband.
All right. So it looks like you can get her on Tuesday.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
this Tuesday.
Well, you can check with the jail. They'll tell you exactly when she'll get released, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Ron. Kimberly Valenzano? Yep. Okay, Kim, what's your date of birth?
9/17/81.
All right, Kim, you got 2 charges, possession of drug paraphernalia and driving on a suspended license. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll point to PD. State what you tell me.
Your Honor, she has a failure to appear on a case that was ultimately dropped, and that was from earlier this year or late last year.
It was
And that's all.
Oh, okay. Kim, I got an address for you on Toucan Trail in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you been there?
Just a couple months.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
No, I don't.
Set your bond at $500 on each count. The total is $1,000. I'll have you back in court on the 3rd of January. Very important that you contact the public defender's office when you get out, Kim.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jennifer Williams. Afternoon, Jennifer. What's your date of birth?
12/8/85.
All right, Jennifer, I have 3 charges today: possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and retail theft. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll point to PD. Okay.
Your Honor, she had a battery that was dropped from May of this year, and then in 2012 a failure to appear, but it doesn't show what the underlying charge was.
And Jennifer, I got an address for you on Emily Drive. Is that where you've been staying?
Yes.
How long you been there?
Just a little over a month.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
No.
Set the bond at $1,000 on the methamphetamine and $500 on the 2 misdemeanors. That's a total of $2,000. I'll have you back in court on the 30th of December, excuse me. Very important that you contact the public defender if you get out, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
So when do I get out?
You have to post the
Is that
bond,
the
and they'll
bond out?
talk to you about that there at the jail.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. William Borton. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
05/08/95.
William, I got 4 charges: possession of hashish, possession of marijuana, possession of drug paraphernalia, driving on a suspended license. As to those charges, there is probable cause. You want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll point to PD. State.
This shows a multi-source offender record, but there's nothing showing from out of state, so
Okay.
that's it.
Okay. William, I got an address for you on Ostrom Way in Weekiwachi. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long you been there?
Couple months.
You got a job these days?
Yes, sir. I just quit my job. I run heavy equipment, and I was planning on getting me another job here pretty quick.
Okay. I'll set the bond on the hash and the marijuana at $500. I'll leave the paraphernalia and the driving where the arresting officer set him, which was $250. That's a total of $1,500. You'll be back in court December 30th on these. Very important that you contact the PD when you get out. I happen to know that they need heavy equipment operators down in Pasco County.
Really?
Yep.
Nice.
You bet.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Kenneth Brown.
Kenneth Brown? Oh, sorry.
After Mr. Brown, what's your date of birth?
1/12/89.
Mr. Brown, the charge of battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, you're going to represent yourself. You're going to hire a private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD, State.
Judge, there's from September a battery second or subsequent offense that was dropped. In August, there was a driving on a suspended license. That was resolved in October. In 2014, a battery second offense that was dropped. In 2014, a possession of marijuana. 2013, a domestic violence battery that was dropped. 2013, a violation of probation. 2012, driving on a suspended license. 2012, violation of probation. He was in prison from May of 2010 to March of 2011, and that was on an aggravated battery upon a pregnant female. That came about in 2009. In 2008, there was a violation of probation on a burglary of a structure. A failure to appear from 2007. In 2007, there was also a violation of injunction in a battery. And then 2007, a violation of probation. 2006, a possession of drugs. And then in 2003, there's a burglary with assault or battery that does not have a disposition listed.
Okay. And Mr. Brown, I had an address for you on Little Gull Road in Weekiwatchee. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long you lived there?
3 years.
All right. Miss Bates lived there as well?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you have a job these days?
No, sir.
How long has it been since you worked?
It's been quite a while.
Okay. I'm going to set your bond at $5,000. Condition is that you have no contact with Miss Bates. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message. You don't contact her through any social media. Don't go where she lives. Don't go where she works. You don't have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine contacting her, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and we find out about it, your bond will be revoked and you'll be held without bond until the charges are resolved. It means no contact even if she wants the contact. So if you answer your phone and hear her voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see her, you should turn around and run the other way. You need to understand that she cannot drop the charges against you. That's not a decision she gets to make. She may go to the state attorney's office and ask them to drop the charges, but that decision belongs to the assistant state attorney handling your case. So unless that person or your lawyer or the judge on your case tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they are not dropped and you should not have contact. In addition, I'm going to hold you until 4 o'clock this afternoon so that if she wanted to serve you with a civil injunction for protection against domestic violence, we know where to find you. If you get the civil injunction, it's doubly important that you not have contact because in that case, not only would you get your bond revoked here, but you'd get new charges for violating the injunction. As far as that address on Little Gull is concerned, as long as Miss Bates stays there, you'll have to stay somewhere else until we get this resolved. You can go by one time to collect your clothes, your toothbrush, whatever you need for wherever you plan to stay. But to do that, you must contact the sheriff's office first. They would meet you there with a deputy who will stand by while you collect your things and get going where you're going. I'll have you back in court on December 30th. Very important that you contact the public defender when you get out, all right? Thank you, sir. Robert DeVinny. Afternoon, Robert. What's your date of birth?
5/18/69.
All right, Robert, I have a warrant for you out of Pinellas County. Judge down there thinks you failed to appear on some charge or another, and set your bond at $1,013. I can't change that bond. If you're able to bond out, you can go down to St. Pete, find out when they want you in court. If you cannot do it, then they'll have 5 days to come and get you. If you're still here in 5 days, they'll bring you back to see me, and I'll find out what the holdup is. All right?
Okay.
Thank you. Dustin DeStroff. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
2/4/81.
Charge is criminal mischief. There's probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, you're going to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
PD, please.
I'll appoint the PD. State.
Judge, in September, he received a DUI that he resolved on November 12th.
He is currently on probation, and
Okay.
one will be forthcoming.
Okay. Anything else, Dave?
Yes, there's just a bunch of things that were dropped.
Okay.
In 2001, there was a domestic battery that was dropped, and then that's all.
Okay. Dustin, I have an address for you on Trinity Road in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
Since February of this year.
All right. You have a job these days?
I do, or I did.
Okay. What were you doing?
Land clearing.
Okay. All right. Okay, this is a misdemeanor, so the January 3rd is the right date for courtroom C, right?
Yes.
It just says E on here. I think it should say C. Right. All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to set the bond at $1,000. You'll be back in court on the 3rd of January on this. I understand. Dustin, you're currently on misdemeanor probation. That means they're going to swear out a warrant for a violation of probation. The bond on that is going to be no bond. I'm not telling you can't bond out on this charge, but if you do, eventually you're going to get arrested on that warrant, and you might be out any money that you spent bonding out on this one. If you stay in jail, you'll get credit for every day that you're in jail toward that VOP, but that'll be up to you to decide. Like I said, you'll be back on the 3rd of January. If you do bond out, you should contact the PD right away. If you don't bond out, they'll come see you at the jail, all right?
Okay.
Thank you. Aaron Sanders. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
4/30/84.
Aaron, I got 6 warrants here. They're all signed by Judge Toner. He found probable cause for, I think it's 3 violations of community control and 3 violations of probation. As to those charges, you're going to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Private counsel.
All right. The bond on each one of those is no bond. I can't change that. They're all coming back on December 30th. When you speak to private counsel, make sure they know about that court date, okay? Thank you.
When are they coming down? 30th?
Regis Searle. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
6/11/55.
Charge is trespassing. There's probable cause for that charge. Is this something he can resolve today?
Judge, I wouldn't feel comfortable without,
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
contact.
That's fine. There's probable cause for the charge. Regis, you want to represent yourself? You want to hire private counsel? Would you like the public defender?
No, I just playing, I guess.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I don't know. No. I couldn't. Yeah, I just.
I'm going to appoint the public defender. Regis, I'm going to leave the bond at $1,000. I'm going to have you back in court on the 3rd of January. PD will come see you before then, okay?
Alright.
Thank you. And Aaron Shaw. Afternoon, Aaron. What's your date of birth?
4/8/1998.
All right, Aaron, I got a warrant for you out of Hillsborough County. The judge has signed the warrant, found probable cause for one count of uttering a forged bill and set your bond at $2,000. I can't change that bond. If you can post that bond, you get out of jail here, go down to Tampa, find out when they want you in court. If you're unable to post the bond, we'll let them know that you're here and ready to go. I'll give them 5 days to come pick you up. It shouldn't take that long. But if for some strange reason you're still here in 5 days, they'll bring you back to see me and I'll find out what the holdup is, all right?
I'm sentenced to the 19th of here, so would it come get me after the 19th?
Say that again?
I'm sentenced to December 19th in this county. Would it come get me after
They
that?
can come get you now because they just served the warrant. So,
Okay.
all right. Thank you.